Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Heaven on Earth Prayer Collective. That was such a powerful reading. Um, we are in such a powerful time right now, and my heart is full with where we're going next in today's prayer call. I'm looking out the window at these absolutely beautiful white clouds. We've had a lot of rain here the past few days, and these puffy white clouds, my God, I just feel so connected to White Buffalo Woman today. And I always feel so deeply connected to the White Buffalo and White Buffalo Woman at this time of year. Of course, in America, traditionally, we celebrate Thanksgiving. And of course, that comes with a loaded conversation around the genocide that happened here in this country to the First Nations people of both North and South America. And so, what we like to do is celebrate the resonance of gratitude um, without condemning anyone for celebrating a time of Thanksgiving. But also, I just feel so close to White Buffalo women and the White Buffalo at this time. Um, really honoring the First Nations wisdom that was here long before any other civilization, and where White Buffalo woman chose to land in the very plains of North America to bring the teachings of Chanupa, to bring her medicine bundles forward, including her prophecy that the white buffalo would appear at this time on the planet, and this is a prophecy that has come true. And I just really want to acknowledge White Buffalo women right now, acknowledge all the First Nations, acknowledge the White Buffalo Star Nation, and deeply acknowledge the living White Buffalo, which are a new genetic species. And on the planet, there are white buffalo, of course, that have just been bred to be white buffalo. There is an actual herd of a new species, genetic new species of white buffalo, and I believe them to be the incarnation, an aspect of white buffalo woman in human form. Excuse me, in their white buffalo woman in the white buffalo form. Excuse me for that error. Um, and so uh, I just wanted to really bring forward their energy, bring forward White Buffalo Women's energy, along with the Sophia Dragons. The Sophia Dragons love the White Buffalo. There are certain earth animals that pair really well with the Sophia Dragon energy. One of them is the buffalo energy. Another energy is horse medicine, bee medicine, hummingbird medicine, eagle. Um, of course, all animal totems are included within the ascension of the dragon energy, but there's specific species such as the white buffalo horses that are deeply connected to the dragon spirit. And so I'm grateful for our opening of that passage from the Sophia Code, highlighting the Sophia dragons. And I'd like for us to read from several passages from the Sophia Code before we step into today's teachings. And I just want to also just welcome everyone that's here live for the first time. A very warm welcome to you. We've been gathering together as the Heaven on Earth Prayer Collective now for about 8 years. And that's a lot of prayer calls that some of us have attended together over the years. If you've been here since the beginning, feel free to celebrate yourself there in the live chat. It's really special to be journeying with you across the years and preparing humanity's heart together for its sovereign awakening as a spiritual community. Sharon saying here since the beginning. I love that, Sharon. Don is sharing since 2017. It's been an awesome 8 great years together from Amanda. Bella is sharing the prayer collective is my favorite. Gratitude. Courtney is sharing this is my first time. Thank you for the welcome. Deanna is sharing that she's been here for 6 years, but Hannah is saying, hello, I'm here for the first time. Jade is sharing it's been such a beautiful ride. And so thanks for introducing yourself. Feel free to share where you're listening into on the live chat. And please know that if you are listening to today's prayer collective call through the replay, we're sending you all of our love and you're receiving the transmission just as if you were attending live. And we love to be with you here live when you can be here live. So absolutely wonderful for us to all be gathering together at this time. Before we tap into some of the teaching points of today, I invite you to turn to page 285 in the Sophia Code, which is White Buffalo Women's chapter. And we're going to start at the paragraph that says, as the second paragraph on the page that begins with an authentic prayer is both humbling and empowering. So think a lot about prayer during this time of year. It's the holiday season. Perhaps you go to church for Hanukkah or temple for Hanukkah, or you go to church for the Christmas holiday. Perhaps you celebrate the solstice as a pagan or a witch. Or goddess worshiper. I mean, it's just like all paths of faith are welcome here. The Sophia Code includes so many different lineages of faith. And we return back to the original source teachings of the divine feminine Christ within all of the lineages featured in the Sophia Code. And so, and of course, when we think of this time of year with Thanksgiving and prayer and harvest, there's so much to be in gratitude for. And so this is why I just really want to return to these teachings from White Buffalo Woman. Again, on page 285, if you could read from the Sophia Code out loud, starting with the second paragraph that says an authentic prayer. An authentic prayer is both humbling and empowering. Prayer is a spiritual technology that requires your awareness to surrender to the power of the Holy Spirit working within you and in all of creation. Allowing yourself to surrender to a higher power humbles your awareness. Humbles your awareness to teach beyond the limitations and resistances of the ego. I'm going to read that sentence one more time. Allowing yourself to surrender to a higher power humbles your awareness to reach beyond the limitations and resistances of the ego. The ego would have you believe that the thinking of your limited human awareness is your only resource for solving a problem or manifesting a desire. White Buffalo Woman goes on to say in the next paragraph, when you pray, you are allowing a higher power beyond your human understanding and effort, the power of the Holy Spirit that exists within you to divinely orchestrate the answers to your every prayer. In this way, prayer is a great equalizer that both humbles and empowers all people through the act of surrendering. Receiving the answers to your prayers teaches your awareness to trust that there is a greater part of you listening to and answering your every request through prayer. So that greater part of you, we call that the oversoul, also known as the higher self in the Sophia Code. That greater part of you is actually connected to God always, which we call in the Sophia Code, another word for God is source or Sophia. And so this technology of prayer that has been practiced for centuries by many different faiths, and especially the First Nations of this continent, and this act of prayer humbles us. It helps us to recognize that we're a part of the creation process. We're a part of the answered prayer coming to pass, but but there's something we're reaching towards that's both within us and of all of creation, whether we call that Tankashala, Great Spirit, Wakan, Tanka, whether we call it Source, Sophia, Divine Mother, Divine Father, Christ, Buddha. We're reaching to a higher consciousness that our soul, our higher self, is always connected to. And the reason why I would like us to return to that remembrance is because we live in a culture, we live in a world culture, an on-demand world culture, where you can order just about anything and have it to your house within 24 hours to a week, depending on what shipping costs you prefer paying. And here's the thing, that has in many ways influenced our ideas about spirituality. Now, can instantaneous manifestations or answered prayers come true? Absolutely. It happens all the time. And there are other manifestations very often connected to your divine purpose that unfold over an arc of time, because it is the process that your soul is more interested in, not necessarily the end result. And that is what we're going to be praying about today. We're going to be asking our creator, our source, creatrix of all life, for the willingness to be very present with the powerful process that the Sophia dragons and the entire Sophia dragon tribe are guiding us through at this time of year. As we approach the completion of 2023 and open our hearts to a new year, a year directed by dragon energy, the year of the dragon arrives on February 10th of 2024. We are in a major cleanup process, ladies and gentlemen. We are opening our hearts to grief we didn't know was inside of us, to anger we've been repressing for years. We're opening our hearts to experiencing the witnessing of the war in the Middle East. That's absolutely terrifying and saddening, and also massively manipulated by the deep state. We're opening our hearts to consider that we are actually the solution to these times, and that no one is here to save us. We're here to be the ones that future generations remember and honor, because we came when we did to birth the creative sovereign solutions that are needed now. You know, we're coming into the understanding that our sovereign self-mastery, that our commitment to self-love, that the resonance that we choose to embody is actually turning the tide, transforming the collective consciousness, because we are conscious beings choosing to become even more conscious in our embodiment, in our daily life, and in our relationships. It doesn't mean we're perfect. And it doesn't mean we cling to perfectionism, because as we know, that is a construct of the matrix. We have been asked by the Ascended Masters, we are being called forward by a prayer that is praying us, as we learn about in the mystery school, a prayer that God has for us to truly embrace and become our most authentic selves, to open our hearts fully, to follow the passions, to follow what is deeply important to our hearts, knowing that each of us completes the puzzle of humanity's ascension. Each of us is a unique puzzle piece to the full ascension of humanity, to humanity's spiritual awakening. We are all needed. Each and every one of us loves what we love for a reason. Each and every one of us likes what we like for a certain reason. And it's not always going to be the same. Very often it won't be. It might be similar, but we were all designed to be a unique key code of God consciousness. And so with this opening introduction, I'd like to invoke our circle of empowerment so that we can really receive the transmission of the Sophia dragons and white buffalo woman in a new way today. opening our hearts to the very present moment, how to be fully present in this present moment of the journey, where there's nowhere to go, there's nowhere to get to, even as our brightest future feels like it's breathing down our necks. And it can almost feel intolerable because of how deeply and thrilling we can feel the future, this golden future. And yet we are being asked to be fully present to the now. And so, how do we learn how to welcome in the future while attending with grace and presence, patience and willingness to what is here to love now within us? Well, we invoke the ascended masters. We co-create with the holiest seraphim of the Divine Mother, the Sophia dragons. And we welcome this living transmission of the Sophia Code to show us that this can feel good too. That we can access the bliss that Mother Mary's been teaching us about all year long, and Mother Mary Speaks, even amidst grief, even amidst a delayed sadness that must be felt for greater happiness to be received. There is literally no skipping any step. One step can be a quantum leap, but there's no skipping the next step ahead of you. And so in the spirit of being very curious and interested in every step that God has placed before us, we now welcome our dear mentors and guides, the Sophia Dragon Tribe, the thousands of ascended masters, angelic orders, and star nations that work together as a unified field for the ascension of humanity's sovereign awakening. And we call forth and welcome specific key codes to create a circle of empowerment, both around you individually, as well as surrounding this virtual temple space.